Hey, what's up guys? I'm Dan H and welcome to the project. Today we will be taking this ripped, worn out, tattered, and broken WJ driver seat. We're going to be making our own custom driver seat out of parts from this beautiful, really nice WJ passenger seat. So come on and enjoy our passenger to driver seat swap. Alright guys, let's climb in. We'll take a closer look at this seat. Right off the bat, you can see it is ripped, as are many other Jeep seats. They all rip in that same spot. Every seat rips because everybody slides in and out just like that. So here we go. We are adjusting forward and back. That works. Now let's recline. Goes back, but ready? Let's go up. Oh! Yep. Infamous motor gear skip. Now, I really like these seats. Check this out. I scored this whole set, and unfortunately, I paid for this driver's seat. That was bad. I didn't realize how bad it was until I actually plugged it in and sat in it. But it was a step up compared to this thing. This was the original seat. I really don't like the light leather at all. And of course, this had its rips, tatters, and tears itself. Now, I was using this, but it became unbearable for my back because one of the brackets actually snapped, I think, in there. So, really sucked, but I was able to score this. This is a driver's seat from a Laredo. This is my temporary fix. Now, I really like this seat, but it doesn't match. This seat matches this set. This is the Laredo set I scored from a 2004 WJ, that green one I've been parting out, or getting parts from. And as you can see, I got a complete set of nice WJ seats. I plan on retrofitting into this XJ. This XJ we all know and love as Project Wreck J. So because this seat is busted, this seat is busted, this seat is spoken for, I was able to find this. I drove to Pennsylvania to get it. This is a really great condition passenger seat. What we're gonna do is try to cannibalize this seat and made it with parts from maybe this seat, maybe this seat. We'll see what we could do, but I'm gonna build myself a custom driver seat, and it will be clothed in this beautiful tatter-free leather. Look at this nice bolster. This is gonna be what I'm sitting on. It's gonna be the first thing you see when you sit in the vehicle. I can't wait. So we are going to start building a seat. All right, let's officially start by removing this driver's seat. Now this is a 15 millimeter, and if you haven't taken these seats out, you might want to hit this with a little bit of penetrating oil. These have been out frequently. Gonna want to slide this forward now. Well, that sounds wonderful. Tilt the back up. Give us some room right there. Busted. Now we'll go into the back. You have these beautiful little pieces of trim. They just slide right out. These are on Christmas tree fasteners. They just slide in there. Flick them out. Don't lose these. Two more 15 millimeters. Again, penetrating oil would be great. You don't want to get a broken bolt. It happens when they're rusty. I broke my seat bolt. Snapped it right off. Tip the seat back a little bit. Got our safety clip on top. Just go ahead and flick that out. Pinch. Pull. There she is. Now before I dismantle this seat, I want to go see how everything functions. We could probably use the mechanics of this if everything works great, since the other one, jumpy and skippy and crackly, like a bowl of Rice Krispies, snap, crackle, and pop. So we got the back reclining nicely. It goes up without crunching, and it slides up really smooth. So far, so good. Check the lumbar. Yeah, the mechanics of this seat is fantastic. I'll probably use everything in here and the skins of the passenger. Alright, so since the seats are ripped, top and bottom, and the mechanics are broken, I guess that incline motor is a little bit shot. We're going to experiment on this seat. It's going to be the first one we take apart, just in case we break anything. We could learn the hard way on this thing. So we'll take this apart, We don't really care if things are messed up too bad. I'm gonna try to do it the right way. But this is how you learn, guys. You just dig in and take stuff apart. So right now we're gonna get these 2 Phillips head screws for this trim. And there's 1 on the back on the side, totaling 3. Easy math, guys. Right. So we got these 3 screws. This releases the trim piece over here, and now it's plugged in. Right over here, this is the control panel. Boom. Unlock that. That's our first part off. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to reveal the 13mm fastener right here. That one comes right out, and here's the other one right here. But look at this. We have a third that is hidden, and since we disconnected the seat, let me show you something. We got a screw to uncover, so we're going to temporarily plug this back in like so, really quick. Then we're going to take our DeWalt battery, B+, B-. We got our 2 little nails right here. Slide this right in like that. Now we got our little wires, our little probes. Here's what we're going to do. Plus, minus. Now we're going to take a look at our plug under the seat. Right here, I'll pull this out a little bit so I can show you better. Right here, this is what we want. 1 and 2 position, ground and power. That's what we're going to connect. I'm just going to poke in our ground. Get a nice firm grip with this hand. And use these fingers very, very dexterously. Press that against the power. Now we're going to reach up here with our free hand, hit that button. There we go. So that battery trick is a nifty little trick to know, especially if you're pulling stuff from a yard that's not powered, because cars in yards don't have batteries. And heck, if you're going to pull a seat in a yard, you can just clip the body harness, cut the wire, whatever, and put your alligator clips to the cut end of the wire. You don't even have to mess with getting your little prongs in there nice and neat. So there we go. Third one off on this side. Easy peasy. Now we flip. And right in here, we're going to reveal a T45 Torx bit. Nice. Now before we go ahead and yank the 2 halves apart, you're going to have to reach down in here and unclip these connectors over here. We've got 3 right here. There we go. Now we can wiggle these apart. Seat heating element wires. There we go. Just a couple more connections down here. There. Now they are officially apart. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take off this headrest because it's probably the only thing I'm going to salvage from this seat. Just going to press this little button, brings it up, and there's another little button here. Back on this side, right there. Headrest comes out. Let's flip the top upside down. We'll take off the skins of the top. This piece of plastic just folds over itself. There we go. Take out some of these wires, unravel them a bit. And we're going to start pulling the fabric away from the foam. Velcro gives the seat its nice form. There we go. Once we're halfway through, we're going to have to take out these pins. These are kind of a pain, but we'll get them. We got this cover almost off. The only thing it's hung up on is these headrest mounts. So what we're going to do is you can lift up this little piece right here. There we go. We can see the headrest mount right in there. So now I'm reaching into the top of the seat and I grab that headrest mount. I'm pushing down and I'm turning and pull. Boom. Out. Woohoo! Here is our upper seat pad. It's really not too bad except for this really bad wear mark, but what are you gonna do? Inside here, this is your heated seat element, and it runs all up in through here. You can see the brown and the blue wires that heats your seat, and you can check to see if it's working by running continuity through this wire right here. This is the brown and blue up here. So what you could do is you could set your multimeter to ohms right there. Now if you connect the two, it should say 0. That means there's continuity. 0 ohms right there. So let's go ahead, plug our prongs into the element. Yeah, we got numbers dancing all over the place. So there's a good chance there's a break in this seat heating element. So we're not going to use this pad, no biggie, but we will check the resistance on the seat we do use. All right, now I'm just going to open up these little metal loops just a little bit so we can detach the foam from the seat. We'll see what's going on in here. There we go, foam out. Here's the mechanism that makes the lumbar work. Pretty cool. Now here is the bare seat back. Everything seems pretty tight. I mean, maybe just the these bolts weren't tightened all the way. I don't know. When we put a seat back together, we'll make sure we zip everything in nice and firm. Let's examine the seat bottom now. And we can detach the plastic clips. We got these little clips in here. It's easier if you push them in from the back. If you get your hand in there, I'm just gonna pry the old-fashioned way. There we go. All right, gonna push all our wires back into the seat frame at the bottom. There we go. Bottom is much easier than the top. Save all this. We'll peel our foam out. And it's got more of those wire attachments in here. So I'm just gonna chuck this in the pile. And here's a good look at the insides of the bottom of a seat. Right up here, this is the memory module for memory seat function. We got all these motors. Now the memory motors have these little extra plugs right here. This is the power plug. All the motors have them, but the memory motors have this extra plug in here. That's for the memory, obviously. Here's all the seat heating wires right there, and of course power wires up here. And this seat feels extremely flimsy. This is probably where it was busted. You can see it's been re-welded all in here. Look at that. Somebody must have jumped on this thing, snapped it real bad. That's why it's warped. I think this bottom is pretty useless to me. Man, this whole thing was re-welded. Yikes. If you guys decide to switch up your electric base, one very important thing to note is the size of the connector. Now these vary based on the trim levels. I guess some seats are electric, some are heated, some even have memory functions. So you're going to want to make sure these are the same. If they're not the same, you might have to clip the connector from the junkyard vehicle just in case you have to rework the connector, and here's how you do it. Alright, step 1, flick off this cap. Step 2, pull out this little insulation. It's like silicone. There we go. Now we got to get this blue locking clip off from the back. Now I got a wire connector kit. I could leave a link in the description below for you. But you're going to take one that works best for you. Got a lot of options. You're going to go ahead and you're going to stick it in the back of this guy. And it's hard to see, but there's a little tiny passage right there. You can go ahead and you could pop out this blue thing. There we go. Sometimes a pick helps to get this guy out. Hup, there we go. Here's a better view than inside the connector. You see these locking tabs? You just kind of want to flick these back, and then they should pop out. Then you get a hold of the wire you want, give it a little tug, and flick down a little plastic clip, and it slides right out. Once it's out, then you can rearrange it in any connector you want, and in any order you want. I recommend sticking with the factory configuration. All right, here is a completely deconstructed driver's seat. So on to the deconstruction of the next one. This guy. Alright, so this is the base I wanted to use with the gray leather out of the Overland, and this looks good, this looks cracked, this looks good, and this looks cracked. So I'm going to take the frame off the base, make a couple welds, maybe paint this up. We're going to have a perfect seat when we're done. There we go, guys. Burned in some washers real quick. Not a great job. Like I said before, I'm a great shitty welder. Got the job done. So we basically doubled the thickness of the seat frame, and most importantly, we fixed all those cracks. So yeah, you're gonna lose about a 1/16 of an inch of headroom. No big deal. But this is looking pretty clean, so let's go ahead and put some paint on it. And here we go, some satin black. Already taken apart. There's a debris field right there, and here is the fabric that I want to save, so I will carefully remove this, keep this nice because we're going to reuse this. Look at this, guys. Look what I found. Broken seat back. Yep, gonna have to weld that. All right, let me take off this lumbar support motor. I'll remove this plastic thing, and we'll go ahead and tack that back on. You know, you think you found a good seat back, but then as you inspect it, you find other little cracks like that. Look at that. Right in the middle, just a crack out of nowhere. And then, right up here, look at this. So we got more than one spot to weld. How about that? All right, seat back is back together. Got some weld up in there, a little extra just on both sides of there because this one would probably break soon. You never know. This one I glob welded in there, and on the back also. I filled in a crack there. I got a little greedy, so I burnt through this. Had to put a nail in and made up for it, but that's okay. This one came out good. Like I said before, I'm a great shitty welder. So here we go. Seats back together. Let's dress it up with all the foam and put the leather on it. Check this out. This is shirt tape. I used to DJ and use this tape to stick cords to like carpeting and stuff so nobody tripped. It's good stuff. Really sticky, really thick. So we'll go ahead and we'll apply this on the insides of the seat. Protect this pad so nothing pops through. All right, there we go. Shirt tape. This stuff is expensive, but it sure does stick. Let's hope it does the trick in here. I will find a link, and I will leave it in the description for you guys. So if you want, you can buy it and give it a try. Alright, looks like we got it. Our tape layer's held up. Pretty strong. Little bunching here, no biggie. But all I gotta do is reach down in there and reattach this silly little wire. Beautiful. We got ourselves a new driver's seat. You couldn't tell that this was a passenger cover. How about that? But it is raining, so I'm just gonna bring this inside. We are inside. Got the house to myself for a little bit. It's a perfect time to work on this seat. Here is the original, and here's what we're gonna end up with. Haha, very nice. This is like brand new right here. Feels like it was never sat in. These bolsters are tight. I'm loving it. We're gonna do some mods though, because of course the seat controls went here in these little cuts. And of course we have this little bracket that clips in. We're gonna have to modify this panel to do so. So first, let's take this apart. Somebody wanted to say hi. Here's a new puppy. This is Fiona. Fiona! Good girl, go play. Daddy's got work to do. Oh man, I am really excited for this. Only one little blemish. I'll see if I can fix that too. Fiona. Man, pulling all these wires through these loops on the seat. Oh, yikes. What a workout. But got it done. Took a little while, so be prepared. Even that dog fell asleep. All right, we have this panel. This is now going to be towards the center console, and this has no control panel to block off all these holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my razor blade and I'm going to cut out this whole panel, and then I'm going to sew in the panel from my driver's seat. That's still good. Now I went ahead and I cut that out already. So we're going to sew in this piece just like this, and it's going to hide all these ugly holes. Now you don't have to do this, but if you don't, you will be able to see these holes slightly. It's not a huge deal. It's basically covered by most of the center console, but you can still see the holes that used to have the brackets on the passenger side. No big deal. I'm going to go all the way, and I'm going to take care of that right now. All right, gonna set this aside. Gonna sew this in. We're definitely gonna keep this nice, fresh pad. This is what we're gonna use. The bolsters are still firm. I'll set that aside. And here we go. Let's cut out the panel with the holes in it. Just gonna start right here, underneath. Got a nice, fresh, sharp blade. Just gonna pick apart these first couple stitches right here. Do not cut the fabric, only the stitches. Once you get a couple, it starts to spread, and you can see where you need to cut more. And as you cut, you can see how they were stitched together. Looks like the stitches loop around themselves and then pull tight in the middle. Not sure what kind of stitch that is. I am not a sewer or seamstress or seamster. Just get work done. All right, on this line, we're working with 2 rows of stitches. One keeps the piping up against the seat over here. The other is a nice little seam right there at the bottom. So it is actually 2 separate things going on over here. I'll have to try to remember to duplicate that when I sew it back together. just gonna hold on to this because this could be my template for when I cut holes on the new driver's side. But check this out, guys. We're gonna use this panel right here, and we're gonna swap out this panel. Now it's gonna solve two problems for me. One, this ugly chunk of missing piping that will be replaced with this, and two, this right here for the seat bolt. That little piece of seat that comes up, we got the cutout here, and this is what we're gonna need. So I won't have to cut any holes unnecessarily. It'll just work out right here, and that'll be awesome. All right, old panel with the chunk missing, new panel with no chunks missing, and the cutout for the seat bracket. All right, guys, I know this kind of work can be extremely mundane, monotonous, tedious, whatever you want to call it. I know it sucks and it takes a long time, but you gotta stay vigilant, stay frosty. You do not want to slice the good part of the leather you're using. This whole job will be wasted, so pay attention to what you're doing. Make precise, intentional cuts. Don't rip your seats. All right, let's bust out some needle and thread and start putting the seat back together. All right, I have stitched in many of these patch panels before, and I find the best way to do it is to get a nice leather needle. I'll see if I can find a link for you guys. I'll pop it in the description. You're gonna need nylon thread. This is the strong stuff. This will hold up to all the sitting. So here we go. Let's get our needle prepared for one of these panels. Tie an end off. Snip this closer to the knot. There we go. Got a good 3 feet of thread to work with. I gotta pick out all this old thread. Got these old pieces of thread out of the way. Don't want them to trip you up. Now, here's what we're gonna do. We are just going to find these holes, these original holes, and we're going to stitch new thread right through the existing holes right into here. And if we do it properly, we shouldn't have to pierce this seat once, and we'll have a beautiful matched patch panel that's 100% factory. There's my first stitch. Went in and out once. Made a nice little knot on the other end. This is gonna take a long time. Alright guys, after many hours of sewing, this is the end result. I'm loving this. It's looking really good. Now this is the side you're going to see, of course. This is all factory, and you're going to have the controls in here. I went ahead and I stitched up this hole, and here is my patch panel with the hole for the seat bracket right there. And not so bad, if I do say so myself. I think this is the worst part. Got a little wrinkle right here. Maybe I skipped the hole. I don't know. After a lot of hours, your mind can wander. But this came out all right. So, now we're going to flip this over. We're going to see if we can get some readings for these heat elements. Let's go try this out. All right. Unplug my left bolster and my right bolster right there. The heating element is in here. We're gonna hook up our multimeter. We're gonna try to test for ohms, see if we can get resistance in the low teens. I believe that's what this is. I am not sure. Let's check it out. Set multimeter to ohms, test the 2, should go to 0. Good, so we know there's continuity there. Had to get a tripod, here we go. 0. So I think this is low teens. So they say. I'm not really sure. Can't find specs on this. All right, 14.6 ohms of resistance. I'll take it. Let's try the other side. All right, got 12.7. I believe that is consistent. So I'm pretty sure the side bolsters work. Now let me show you a bolster that doesn't work. Plug these back in, set this aside. Now here's a side bolster that doesn't work. All right, here's our ripped and tattered original driver's side seat cover. All tattered up here. Bolster's pretty worn in. Now we got no reading out of this. And at a closer glance, went in here and I saw that, look at that. The heating element was disconnected right here, all ripped apart. Now if we attach the multimeter to the two ends of this element in here, you will see, there we go, the resistance is way high. I'm pretty sure that is not to spec. Now, if you got to this point and you realized you were still getting no connection, what you could do is you could take a razor blade and slice this gently and peel this padding up. Do not cut through the seat because this is right where your leather is. But you could cut all along the edge and then you could gently peel back this seat foam and reveal the seat heating element. And if there was any breaks in this wire, of course you could reattach them. And hopefully they'd be giving you the resistance you're looking for. Then you'd be good to go. Spray a little 3M adhesive spray, let this set, and then you can put your seat pad back on. But this part is garbage. It is just too tattered to use. So that I won't be needing ever again. But this part, this is still good. This pad is still good. So I'll keep this around in my parts pile. Now I'm testing the center portion for resistance, and again I'm not sure the values, but I'm getting a constant result. So I believe the center pad is in working condition. I'm going to go ahead and put this seat back together. I wouldn't bother trying to fix this part if this was busted. There's just way too many channels to get into, and I wouldn't be cutting that apart. But the different models that have more of a flat style, I could probably see myself opening up and reconnecting any burnt heating elements, kind of like the XJ. Of course, the outside seat panel was ripped as usual, so I took the whole seat apart and I stitched in fabric from an extra spare tire cover. I think this is the best solution to fixing these torn seat bottoms because it's actually matching material from the factory. And these spare tire covers are thick and durable, so this thing will never tear again. And of course, while the seat pad was off, I cut into it with an X-Acto knife and I soldered together the seat heating element where it had shorted out and broke apart. I then cleaned out all the gunk from the motors, re-greased them, and scrubbed down all the contacts from inside the seat switch. It was definitely a lot of work, but man, it was worth it. And that's how I repaired the heated seats on Black Beauty. I think this is good to go. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to use the passenger side seat foam because it has really nice bolsters. It was the nicest out of all my seats, even though the puppy kind of scratched this up a little bit when I wasn't looking. Just going to go ahead and rest my seat in like where it's supposed to be. Stuff the foam into the pad. Now I gotta slide those rods through those hog rings. Yay, that's gonna be fun. Just gotta press down where those hog rings are. Slide the seat up. Right there. go, guys. Here are all our components we need to finally assemble a finished product of a driver's seat. Man, this is gonna look so good. I can't wait to sit on it. All right, let's start with the base. Got my nice new painted base. Everything's pretty much wiped down. Didn't do anything to the motors because they all worked. This was the best working motor, or I guess this is the track system motor base, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. This one worked the best out of all of them. So I'm going to hit everything up with some grease, prevent rust, smear it on all these components. There we go. Splat that on. And here we go. Here we got the seat frame, I guess. The frame is going to go on the base. We got our washers welded on there. I'm looking forward to having some seats that will not crack in the future. That will be great. Drop it right on the holes. Just push our wires through. Put our nuts back on. Now we're going to have to manipulate our passenger piece of foam onto this driver side base, and don't forget we're going to have to make our cuts to get these controls through here. Also, we got to make holes to line up for the mounts right there, and we're going to have to sew this on somewhere because the clips for the inside do not work on this piece. This piece gets clipped right into these holes, so we'll stitch that on, and yeah, let's figure out how we're going to do that. So we got this little clip-on piece right there. I figure we'll just go ahead and sew it right into the seat right there. I'm not going to take off this black clip because I don't want to unthread any of this stitching. We'll just go right on through the old stitching. Why not? All right, there we go. Stitched in my little clip. It ain't pretty, but it'll do the trick. I had to cut out a little piece of this plastic clip in here, but let's pop this in. 1 and 2. Beautiful. Now that we have a better understanding of where things line up, we can go ahead and cut our holes. We'll make 2 little half moons over here and here for our screws. And I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut them way down here. And I'll try to clean up these tips because I think these might be showing just a little bit. We'll bring them down low. So always want to make sure you measure a lot because once you cut, you can't undo it. All our pertinent holes are cut. Now we can mate the 2 seats together. Seat is back together. Now we just gotta plug in those connectors into the base, and if you want to, you can reattach your hog rings onto this wire right there. I got mine loosely in place. I'm not gonna go crazy, but yeah, we are seconds away from getting this in the Jeep. forget to clip in your power plug. And here we go, 15mm bolts coming in. I highly recommend coating these in a little anti-seize. That would certainly help prevent some rust issues. And also, go ahead and give your Jeep a little vacuum if you want. That would take care of all those French fries that have been accumulating. Oh! And don't forget our little trim pieces. Slide on the Christmas tree fastener. Line her up. And 1 and 2. Beautiful. We did it. All right, guys, time to officially unveil the new seat. No peeking. Can we get a drum roll or something? Here it is. Oh, man, that is a perfect looking seat. Wow. Man, from top to bottom, this whole thing has been restored using nothing but OEM Jeep parts, mostly a passenger seat and a good working driver base and controls. Wow, I absolutely love this seat. Look how tight this bolster is. This feels amazing. I can't wait to sit in it. Let's try it out. Oh, here we go. Oh, man. Oh, this was worth all the work. This seat feels incredible. It's like it's brand new. I remember the first time I sat in a Grand Cherokee, it was a 2000 Grand Cherokee, and it was like late 99, and I don't remember feeling this amazing. All these ribs give this seat so much extra support. It is absolutely incredible. I love this interior set. These pillow tops are just fantastic. And I'll be honest with you guys, this wasn't my first seat choice. I actually bought an entire different seat set. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I had different seats in this thing, and I did the same thing as I did with this driver's seat. I made myself another driver's seat out of a passenger seat, but I did not sew in that inside panel, so it's just stitched up on the side. You can see on this seat right here that everything is intact. There is not one piece of leather out of place. Every clip is in place. Every hog ring is in place. It is just a complete rebuild, and I absolutely love it. I'm so glad I went with the pillow tops and not the other ones, but those are still really nice seats, so they are for sale. So hit me up in the comments or shoot me a message on Instagram. All right, so we know everything works. We got back, we got forward, we got up, 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 down, down, down. We got recline. We got not recline. We got lumbar. Can't hear it, but it's working. The only thing we got to do is test the seat heat. Let's give that a shot right now. All right, let's see what we got. Pop that baby on high, and we wait. Well, alright guys, so I know it's really hot out, so I gave it a couple extra minutes to try and warm up, but unfortunately I did not feel any heat emanating from these seats. So I took a quick look again, and apparently I miscalculated on the resistance values of the seat. XJs are a lot different than these WJs. These WJs actually have carbon fiber seat heating elements, and it's just not in the right place right now, so I guess they are broken, unfortunately. I'll see if I can put some more information in here for you guys. It's hot out now, so I'm not really worried about it. And I don't know, maybe I'll try to fix the elements another time. I'm not sure if you can actually. They are so tightly ingrained in these seats. You might have to replace the whole pad. And I'm not doing that, so I'm just gonna deal with this. It's a perfect seat anyway. It's so comfortable. Man, it's so tight. Really holds me. And fortunately, my buns won't be toasted. This one, gonna have to kick it off of high down to low pretty soon because my buns are toasted. It's all good. I still love the seat, and I'm proud of my work. It's like a new Jeep. Came a long way. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna close this one out. Remember to like, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next project. Peace.